March 2026 is shaping up to be a serious turning point in Middle East tensions. And about a month into a major US-led military pressure campaign, one thing is becoming very clear to military observers. Modern warfare is no longer just about numbers. It is about technology, information, and who controls the skies. Right now, American air power is showing exactly why it remains the benchmark that every other military studies. At the center of that conversation is one aircraft that still feels like it came from the future, even though it has been flying for years. The F-22 Raptor. This jet is not just another fighter. It was built during a time when the United States wanted absolute dominance in the air, not just parity. Engineers didn't design it to compete. They designed it to make sure nobody else could even step in the ring. And even today, many defense experts still call it the most complete air superiority fighter ever built. When this aircraft shows up in a region, it usually means the United States is not playing around. Recent military releases and operational photos connected to U.S. Central Command have confirmed these aircraft operating in the broader region. And that alone sends a message. The F-22 does not get deployed just to hang out. This is the kind of asset you move when you want total awareness of what is happening across the battle space. It is basically the difference between walking into a dark room with a flashlight versus turning on every light. Switch in the building. What really makes the Raptor different is not just stealth, although that alone already puts it in a different league. It is how everything works together. Its radar, electronic sensors, communications systems, and flight performance all combine into one integrated system. Pilots often describe it less like flying a jet and more like managing a flying command center. The jet is constantly collecting information, processing it, and presenting it in a way that gives the pilot a huge advantage in reaction time. In modern combat, reaction time is everything. Seeing a threat first usually means you control the outcome. That is exactly what the F-22 was designed to do. See first. Decide first. Act first. That philosophy has guided U.S. air combat doctrine for decades, and the Raptor represents the peak of that thinking. Speed is another factor that gets talked about a lot. The aircraft can supercruise, meaning it can fly at supersonic speeds without using afterburners. That may sound like a small technical detail, but it matters a lot. Afterburners make aircraft easier to detect and burn massive amounts of fuel. Being able to move fast while staying efficient and harder to detect is a huge tactical advantage. Then there is maneuverability. The thrust vectoring engines allow the aircraft to perform movements that most fighters simply cannot match. While modern air combat often happens beyond visual range, close-range maneuverability still matters because nobody ever wants to be the pilot who is unprepared for a worst-case scenario. The Raptor gives its pilot confidence in both situations. Another reason this aircraft gets so much attention is because it is not just a fighter anymore. It has evolved into a precision strike platform as well. It can carry highly accurate guided weapons internally, allowing it to engage ground targets while maintaining its stealth characteristics. That means it can contribute to multiple mission types without needing different aircraft for every role. That flexibility is exactly what modern military planners want. Precision strike capability also reflects how warfare has changed. The focus today is minimizing collateral damage while maximizing effectiveness. That means targeting specific facilities, specific infrastructure, or specific military capabilities rather than broad, destructive approaches. Technology allows that level of precision in ways that simply did not exist decades ago. One of the biggest advantages the United States has developed over time is something most people never see: networking, data sharing between platforms. This is where things get really interesting. The F-22 does not just operate as an individual aircraft. It operates as part of a larger digital ecosystem. Information it gathers can be shared with other aircraft, naval vessels, and command centers. This means even older aircraft can become much more effective when supported by newer platforms feeding them information. A fourth-generation fighter connected to fifth-generation sensors suddenly becomes a much more capable asset. That is how you stretch capability without replacing every aircraft overnight. Military planners sometimes call this force multiplication. One high-end asset, improving the effectiveness of many other systems. In simple terms, it is like having one superstar player who makes the entire team better just by being on the field. At the same time, the broader political situation continues developing. Public statements from leadership suggest that alongside military positioning, diplomatic conversations are also ongoing. This combination is nothing new. Throughout history, negotiations often happen when both sides are trying to improve their positions. Geography also plays a major role in everything happening right now. The Strait of Hormuz remains one of the most strategically important waterways in the world. A significant portion of global oil shipments moves through this narrow passage. Any threat to shipping there gets international attention very quickly. Keeping that route open is not just a regional priority. It affects global markets, fuel prices, shipping insurance, supply chains, even countries far away from the region watch developments there very closely because disruptions can have ripple effects across the global economy. Military presence in the region often reflects that reality. Naval patrols, surveillance flights, and regional bases all contribute to ensuring freedom of navigation remains protected. This is not just about one country's interests. It connects to global economic stability. Meanwhile, rhetoric continues from multiple sides, as expected in any high-tension environment. Public messaging often sounds strong during these periods. Sometimes it is aimed at domestic audiences. Sometimes it is strategic signaling. Sometimes it is simply part of the negotiation process. Behind the scenes, the real work usually involves intelligence agencies, diplomats, and defense planners evaluating possible outcomes. They look at timelines, risks, possible escalations, and off-ramps. Most of that work never becomes public, but it shapes everything that follows. From a military analysis perspective, the current phase appears focused on maintaining pressure while avoiding unnecessary escalation. That often means relying heavily on air and naval capabilities rather than large ground deployments. This approach reflects lessons learned from past conflicts, where long ground wars proved costly and complex. Technology now allows influence without massive troop numbers. Surveillance drones, cyber capabilities, precision strike aircraft, and rapid response forces allow more flexible responses. Some analysts call this the small footprint approach. Maximum capability with minimum exposure. Uncertainty still exists, of course. No conflict environment is ever completely predictable. Remaining defensive capabilities, mobile systems, and asymmetric tactics always require caution. Even when one side holds major advantages, risk management remains critical. Portable defensive weapons remain one of the most common concerns in any active theater. Even relatively simple systems can create localized risk under certain conditions. That is why mission planning always includes altitude management, route planning, and countermeasure readiness. What many observers are really watching now is how the situation evolves politically. Military pressure sometimes accelerates political change. Sometimes it hardens positions. Outcomes often depend on internal factors as much as external ones. Economic pressures, political divisions, and leadership calculations all influence timelines. Coalition coordination is another factor that rarely gets enough attention. Modern operations often involve intelligence, sharing, and logistical cooperation between multiple partners. That network effect increases overall awareness and capability. U.S. strategy in recent years has shown a clear preference for avoiding large-scale occupation-style conflicts when possible. Instead, the focus has shifted toward deterrence, rapid capability projection, and strategic positioning. Precision over mass. Speed over size. Flexibility over permanence. Defense planners have clearly tried to apply lessons learned over the past 20 years. That means faster operations, clearer objectives, and avoiding open-ended commitments whenever possible. It is about controlling the pace rather than reacting to it. Looking forward, the biggest indicators of where things go next will likely come from three areas: diplomatic language, military posture, and economic signals. Changes in any of those categories often hint at the next phase before official announcements happen. For now, what seems clear is that the United States is maintaining strong operational awareness while leaving room for diplomatic outcomes. Air patrols continue. Surveillance continues. Strategic positioning continues. Everyone involved is trying to shape what the next chapter looks like without triggering unnecessary escalation. Zooming out even further, situations like this often connect to broader global competition. Energy security, trade stability, and technological competition all intersect in complex ways. Regional crises sometimes become pieces of much larger strategic puzzles. What stands out most right now is how central air dominance remains. Control of the skies still provides options that nothing else can fully replace. Time to think, time to negotiate, time to decide next moves. That advantage alone can reshape the entire strategic picture. As events continue to develop, one thing remains obvious. Advanced technology, especially in the air domain, continues to shape how modern conflicts unfold. The tools may change, but the principle stays the same. Whoever controls the sky usually controls the pace of everything else. For now, the situation remains fluid, decisions remain ongoing, and the world continues watching to see what direction things take next.